Fox Sports.
We are Fox. We are Minnesota.
For 25 years, your home for Minnesota Twins baseball.
Number 17. Walk-off hit.
It is 93 degrees in downtown Minneapolis. They say it feels like 96. And the Twins and the Angels resume a series that started way back in April, but due to cold, rainy weather, the finale will be played tonight. Brian Dozier's been red hot for the Twins. Mike Trout hot all season for the Angels, in the top 3 in the league in both on-base percentage and slugging percentage. He leads the red-hot Angels into Minneapolis tonight with Ron Coomer. I'm Anthony LaPanta. Minnesota will be trying to complete the sweep 5 months after they started, and they'll be doing it with 7 new faces, as yesterday the Twins announced 7 call-ups with the September roster expansions now that Rochester's been eliminated from the International League playoffs. So many of these players are players Twins fans have seen before. Who are you most intrigued to see down the stretch?
Well, there's quite a few guys, Anthony, and to me, this one probably stands out the most for me of the offensive guys. Parmalee, a guy that was really thought of as going to be an everyday player in the big leagues. Struggled this year mechanically. We heard him talk about it in a pregame show, but a guy that needs to pick it up and be an impact player. Escobar is a guy that the Chicago White Sox and Robin Ventura were very big on when he got traded. To me, when you talk about pitching, Scotty Diamond's the guy that going into this season you expected big things. He had some issues with mechanics. Things didn't work out. Cole DeVries, well, he's a guy that really never got on track this year. Early in the season was hurt, and to me, never got on track. Pitched a little bit in Double-A, and now he's back in the big leagues. We'll see what happens. Diamond, Parmalee are 2 guys, but don't forget about Tompkin because he's a guy out of the pen that can really rush it up there.
We'll see many of these players throughout the month. Parmalee in the lineup tonight for Minnesota, playing in right field. The Twins and the Angels in what's officially a series finale. Mike Trout has avoided the sophomore slump. Dick Bremer and Bert Blyleven have more on the Angels star next.
On Fox Sports North is presented by Northland Ford. Visit northlandford.com and your local Northland Ford dealer today. And by Menards. Save big money on all your home improvement needs at Menards.
This was supposed to be an off day for the Twins and the Angels, but they got rained out in April. They'll make that game up here tonight. A hot and muggy night at Target Field, and we're glad you're with us for Twins baseball. Dick and Bert with you for a makeup game between the Twins and the Angels. Now, the Twins have played the Angels very well this year, having won 4 of the 5 games. The only time they've lost to the Angels was when Jared Weaver pitched out in Anaheim, and as luck would have it, he'll make the start for them tonight.
Yeah, and 8 very good innings for Weaver. Nothing new for Jared Weaver against the Minnesota Twins. In that ball game right there, you can see 1 walk, 9 strikeouts. That's a season high for Weaver. 8-2 over his career in 14 starts. So he has had the Twins' number. Of course, last year he no-hit the Minnesota Twins. For the Twins on the mound, that'll be Pedro Hernandez. He's making his 8th start of the year, coming off a quality start. His first one in his career. That was against the Houston Astros. He got a no decision in that ball game, but the Twins won late in that ball game, and the Twins are 6-2 when he starts, so that's a good sign.
Well, the Angels have had another disappointing year, but nothing disappointing about Mike Trout's sophomore season. He is an on-base machine for the Angels.
Yeah, baseball doesn't have too many 5-tool players, and you're looking at one right here, Mike Trout. You see where he ranks in the American League. Hits, average, hitting the home run, stolen bases. This guy does it all. Very good defensive player also.
21 games left for the Minnesota Twins, and we've got a makeup game here between the Twins and the Angels. The homestand will continue, and the Twins hope to end that 10-game home losing streak when we come back. Of anything is a lot, and when you're talking about consecutive home losses, that's at least 8 too many. And the Twins will try to end an incredibly long home losing streak here tonight in the makeup game against the Angels. Pedro Hernandez finishing up his warm-up tosses. Mike Scioscia, like Ron Gardenhire, accustomed to being in the playoffs, and for Scioscia this will be the 4th year in a row where the Angels have not been in the playoffs. They played better as of late, but still a very disappointing year for the Angels. Here's his Menards batting order for this final game between the Angels and Twins. Colin Cowgill leading off, Eric Ibar, Mike Trout, Mark Trumbo, Josh Hamilton, Chris Iannetta, Cole Calhoun, Grant Green, and Tommy Field.
And left-handed pitcher Pedro Hernandez on the mound looking for his 4th win. His first career start against the Angels. As I mentioned in the open, he's coming off his first quality start at the major league level. This is his 10th career start. He's had better luck against left-handed hitters than right-handers. Right-handers hitting .341, left-handers .224. So his goal is hopefully get a lot of these tough right-handed Angel hitters out here this evening.
Northland Ford defense for the Twins. Oswaldo Arcia in left, Alex Presley in center. Recall Chris Parmalee in right. Trevor Plouffe, Pedro Florimo, Brian Dozier, Chris Colabello around the infield, and Josmil Pinto behind the plate. 93 degrees. It's actually cooled off a couple of degrees here in downtown Minneapolis. Very high dew point. Very muggy conditions for, well, we're approaching mid-September here.
Beautiful weather. Good baseball weather right here.
Cowgill, Ibar, and Trout in the first.
If you've not seen Hernandez pitch before, a fastball in the low 90s. He mix in a slow curveball, slider, and a very good changeup.
Up and away, ball 1.
And saw Cowgill a little bit when he was with the Mets. Getting traded over to the Angels on June 25th.
And there is a strike. In being asked what you talked about, the right-handed hitters having really good success against Hernandez, Ron Gardenhire offered the response he needs to really command the inside part of the plate and in off the plate, and use what Andrew Albers did yesterday as a textbook for how to do that as a left-handed pitcher that doesn't have overpowering stuff.
And you have to pitch ahead. That's exactly what Andrew did yesterday. Albers did a great job. 7 shutout innings.
Down and away, 3-1.
That's the pitch you want to control right there. That little two-seamer down and away. For Hernandez, 16 walks in 43 innings pitched. There's the numbers right there. 7 home runs allowed, all to right-handed hitters.
3-1 to Cowgill. A high fly to center. And Alex Presley drifting back and makes the catch, 1 away. Hernandez survives a hitter's count against Cowgill. That'll bring up Eric Ibar.
Yeah, Hernandez, 24 years old. His first season with the Twins, of course, came over from the White Sox last year in the Francisco Liriano trade. Angels are playing good baseball, Dick. Over the last 16 ball games, they've won 12 of them. But they are 15.5 games in 3rd place in the American League Western Division. No chance, really, for the wild card.
An outside chance of getting back to the 500 mark by season's end, but there's a lot of turmoil in Southern California. Some people say that Mike Scioscia's job, even though he's under contract for 4 more years, that Mike Scioscia's job is in jeopardy. Jerry Dipoto, the GM, rumored to be on the hot seat.
Yeah, it seems like Soto and Dipoto are not, Sosa and Dipoto are not on the same page. So that's a lot of the beef going on in Anaheim, but it's been frustrating. Mike Scioscia, you know, when he has good players, he's a good manager, same as Ron Gardenhire.
2-0. And a ball line. Florimo got it in the palm of the glove. That might have stung a little bit. He made the catch, 2 down.
Well, just like all the pitchers in that starting rotation for the Twins, they're not strikeout pitchers, so they need good defense. And right here, ball hit right at Florimon. And that'll break in your glove.
Two down, and that'll bring up Mike Trout. Trout having a phenomenal second half of the year. Has raised his on-base percentage to .437. And as good as he has been, he might make an American League batting race yet, with the talk of Miguel Cabrera, and could he possibly back up a Triple Crown year with another one, and most of the focus is in the home run race. Chris Davis up by 5. Trout's starting to make a little noise. He's 15 points behind Cabrera, and that can be made up in a weekend series. Fastball in the inside corner, 1-1.
Mike Trout only 22 years old, already in his third season with the Angels. Last year, American League Rookie of the Year when he hit .326, hit 30 home runs and drove in 83 runs.
1-1.
And stole 49 bases. So a 5-tool player.
Eleven pitches, just 4 strikes for Hernandez. 2-1 to Trout. Oh my. Somehow that got through Hernandez. I don't think it hit him. But Trout with a wicked liner right up the middle. How'd that not hit him?
I don't know how he got that right foot out of the way. Take a look right here. You see him go right through the wicket. Wow. You know, you release that ball toward home plate, which is 60 feet 6 inches. You end up about maybe 54 feet. And a lot of good hitters, you leave the ball out over the plate like that, they want to drive it right back up the middle, exactly what Trout did.
Trout and Hernandez looking at one another, smiling like they have known each other for a while. Here's Trumbo. Angels come here. There's no Albert Pujols, done for the year with a foot issue. Trumbo with 31 home runs and a modest batting average of .235. Josh Hamilton in the lineup, but as their designated hitter.
Yeah, Trumbo, one of those hitters that when he's hot, watch out. When he's cold, watch out. He'll strike out a lot, but this guy has tremendous power.
And just off the corner, 1-1.
Trumbo has struck out 162 times, but has hit 31 home runs.
Vlad Guerrero, the last Angel to hit 30 home runs or more in back-to-back seasons.
Trumbo hit 32 last year, 31 right now.
Gonna throw to first.
Yeah, Trout, very good speed at first base. 32 stolen bases this year in 39 attempts.
20 off the league lead held by Jacoby Ellsbury.
Hernandez pretty good at holding on runners. Only 1 stolen base against him in 4 attempts.
Fly ball center. Presley back and there to make the catch. A couple of well hit balls, but a scoreless first inning for Pedro Hernandez. Hot bat since coming over to the Twins in the Justin Morneau trade. He will lead things off. Twins hope to make it 5 out of 6 against the Angels, a team that's typically given them a lot of trouble. The Menard batting order for the Twins has Presley on top, Pinto batting second, Brian Dozier third, Oswaldo Arcia, Ryan Doman, Trevor Plouffe, Chris Colabello, Chris Parmelee, and then Pedro Florimon.
And on the mound, it'll be Jarrett Weaver. For Weaver, 30 years old in his 8th season with the Angels, making his 22nd start Back in April, he fell off the mound and fractured his left elbow, was activated in late May. Weaver has had a lot of success against the Twins. His 15th career start against the Twins, 8-2 with a 3.28 ERA. And again, that's a guy that no-hit the Twins last year in Anaheim.
That was in May of last year, and when the Angels came through in April, Weaver was on the sidelines with the broken left elbow. Presley takes strike one. Presley's really been swinging the bat well. A lot of singles, of course, one home run, but he looks to be a candidate to be a starting center fielder and leadoff man for the Twins next year. Tap foul, 2 strikes.
Well, he's doing exactly what you want out of a leadoff hitter. He's getting on base. 12 hits in 31 at-bats. 5 multi-hit games.
Three walks and 31 at bats, 2 strikes.
Presley has never faced Weaver. What he will see is a fastball, 2-seamer, 4-seamer. 2-seamer will have some sink to it, a slider, curveball, and a changeup. 3-time American League All-Star. Iannetta, the catcher, goes with that pinky fastball in.
High and tight, 2-2. Conspicuously absent on the list of call-ups for the Twins, Aaron Hicks, who was sent down in early August. Didn't swing the bat any better in AAA than he did at the big league level, and so he was not called up in September, with the hope being that he'll respond to that as
right.
Brian Dozier did a year ago.
I agree. You have to earn the call-up, and I don't think Hicks earned that.
Last year Dozier didn't. He had a disappointing first year in the big leagues. He was sent down and may have assumed that he would be called up in September, and when he wasn't, it was a bit of a wake-up call for Brian. He would tell you that, and that may prove to be the same for Aaron Hicks. Presley takes a called 3rd strike, 1 away.
Well, Weaver is a strikeout pitcher. Picks up his first strikeout.
Northland Ford defense for the Angels. Cowgill in left, Trout in center, Calhoun in right. Tommy Field at third, Ibar and Green up the middle, Trumbo at first, and Bert mentioned Iannetta behind the plate.
Yeah, Mike Trout has the trainer come out and get him some glasses, of course, in center field here at this time as that sun sets over home plate. I think we saw Presley battle the sun a little bit, and Trout deciding he might need those glasses. There's that. That's what Trout is looking into.
Well, why doesn't he just play real shallow in the shadows?
That would be nice.
Here's Pinto.
Pinto would like that.
Yes, he would. Right center field. Trout will chase it. Nobody home. To the warning track. Pinto with a double. And the kid catcher keeps hitting.
11 hits now in 20 major league at-bats. And Pinto gets his 3rd double. Like a breaking ball up, and we've seen the power of Pinto. Hit his first home run to straightaway center. That slider he just took the other way, and one hops the fence out in right center. That's a 1-out double.
I don't think it was that bad of a pitch, breaking rather sharply it looked.
But what's nice is he didn't try to pull that. He just went with it. Very good at bat.
And now Dozier. Twins shut out in the ball game yesterday, 2-0. Would like to strike first against Weaver. And there's a belt high fastball and strike 1.
I mentioned Weaver is 8-2 in his career against the Twins. The 2 losses coming here. The Twins have not beaten Weaver at home in Anaheim, but they are he is 2-2 here in Minnesota.
Capper left side. Field with a stop and a throw that pulls Trumbo off the bag. That'd be an infield hit for Dozier. Field diving to his left, and his throw pulled the big target Trumbo off the first base bag.
Yeah, Pinto had to hold up at second base. Fields getting called up for AAA. Just threw the ball wildly up the line, and Trumbo has to come off the bag to get it. And they will give Dozier an infield base hit.
Second game in a row now for Arcia in the cleanup spot. giving Josh Willingham some time off. Slow breaking ball, but he missed. 70 miles per hour, ball one.
Yeah, Presley, Pinto, Arcia have never faced Weaver before.
What's the old saying? Ignorance is bliss. You never face the guy, you don't know what to expect or anything. Just look for the ball and try to hit it.
Hit it hard somewhere.
Like that. What a pickup by Trumbo. He'll go to the bag for out number 2. Arcia making a bid for an extra base hit. And a fine play by Mark Trumbo.
Trumbo not known as a good defensive first baseman, but he kind of just stuck that glove out there. The ball bounced right into it. Boy, Arcia hitting this ball sharply, and Trumbo reaching out and snaring that hard hit ball and gets the out at first base. Wow. A nice play.
Ryan Doumit to the plate with 2 men in scoring position and 2 out. Doumit serving as the designated hitter. Way out in front of the changeup, strike 1. When we showed you during the pregame show the list of call-ups, you may have noticed Eric Fryer, who was the other catcher in Rochester toward the end of the season, which lends credence to the idea that Ryan Doumit probably won't catch much, if at all, and for that matter, neither will Joe Mauer. There's a pop-up. It's spinning back and out of play. I'm just guessing now, but Joe says he wants to catch. And my guess is that he will certainly catch once or twice before the end of the season, just for his own peace of mind.
Yeah, first Joe has to get off the concussion list and then, work his way back. So
2 quick strikes to Doumit.
Yeah, Doumit just 1 for 11 against Jarrett Weaver.
Short center. Ibar retreating, twisting around. He gets there to end the threat. Pair of hits, 2 men left aboard, no score after 1.
Inning. Well, the big news today, the Twins calling up 7 players from AAA Rochester. Chris Parmalee in right field is one of them. Aaron Hicks is not. And as we mentioned earlier, Gardy said it was kind of like a Brian Dozier situation last year. He was sent down in August, didn't really do anything to earn his way back up as a September call-up. Obviously, this year, Dozier has had an absolute breakout season, and he told me earlier, he talked to Hicks a while back, and he told him, keep your head up and start working hard because next year is going to be sooner than you know it. And as Brian Dozier can attest to, a year can make all the difference in the world. So some words of encouragement from one player to another, you got to like that.
Absolutely, and who better to advise than somebody who went through the exact same process a year ago.
Again, it's a call-up that is earned. And Aaron Hicks definitely has not earned that call-up.
Josh Hamilton, Chris Iannetta, and Cole Calhoun to hit for the Angels here in the second.
And speaking of earned numbers on Josh Hamilton, he has not earned the big contract that he signed yet, hitting at only .237.
Strike one.
Those are his numbers from last year at this time. 40 home runs, drove in 119. You can see where he is this year.
And strike two.
He's always been a free swinger. You know, he's a guy that if you leave the ball out over the plate, he can hammer it a long way. A guy that you have to pitch inside and then change speeds.
A lot of strikeouts, 138 of them, and 506 at bats. 1-2.
Again, left-handers hitting only .224 off of Hernandez. See that pitch right there? That's not Hamilton. When he's swinging it back good, he doesn't chase that breaking ball. But Hernandez picks up his first strikeout. Breaking ball, really not even close. And Hamilton swings through it.
Hamilton hitting just .176 against lefties. The Sports and Highlight Show you've been waiting for is here. Fox Sports Live. Jay Onrait and Dan O'Toole are joined by Donovan McNabb, Gary Payton, Andy Roddick, Carissa Thompson to bring you everything you need to know about the world of sports. It's Fox Sports Live, airing nightly on Fox Sports 1. One gone. Here's Chris Iannetta. A foul pop, sailing back into the seats.
Iannetta in his second season with the Angels came over from the Colorado Rockies organization. His average down at .217.
That 90-mile-per-hour fastball spun back to the screen. 1-2. Angels have a lot of work to do, as the Twins do, but one of the areas the Angels need work on is they need to find a catcher. They have not really had a stabilizer behind the plate. I have to go back to Mike Napoli. He's not a great defensive catcher, but he hit enough to where it was a force to be reckoned with behind the plate.
Well, there's Napoli and Mathis that kind of went back and forth.
Right.
You know, Mathis not going to hit much, but Napoli definitely hit for power. Now he's a first baseman for the Red Sox.
1-2. Just down and away. 2-2.
Well, Angels, you know, they're playing better ball. What they did is they brought up some of the young kids, but they can't bring them all up because all three of their top teams, AAA, AA, single A, are all in the playoffs. So they're not really here with say the troops that the Oakland A's are going to have.
Blue charges. Flips, gets in Iannetta. 2 down.
Oakland A's start a 3-game series there tomorrow night, and I understand they have 37.
They had 36. They may have added somebody else.
36, 37. That's a lot.
Going to take a number outside the clubhouse just to walk in. Here's Cole Calhoun in an otherwise awful season for the Angels. Here's Calhoun putting up some pretty remarkable numbers. 6 home runs in just 38 games, giving the Angels something to consider in the offseason as he looks forward to the 2014 season. Is he an option?
Yeah, Angels very high on this young man right here, 25 years old. He spent time down in AAA. Ball's going to hook foul or slice foul, where he hit .354 in 59 ball games. A career .317 hitter in the minor leagues.
They list him at 5'10" in the media guide only because he says he's 5'10". They don't have an official measurement, I guess. Jokingly, Mike Scioscia the other day accused him of being 5'3". He's somewhere, I suspect, in between. 1 strike.
Altuve with the Houston Astros, they had him at what, 5'6", 5'7"?
Mm-hmm.
That's a lie.
Standing on the Houston phone book, maybe.
Out of Buckeye, Arizona, signed by the Angels out of Arizona State in 2010.
And a sharp single to right. Another 2-out hit for the Angels. Calhoun's aboard, and that'll bring up Grant Green. Howie Kendrick done for the year, and so Green gets a chance to play for the Angels.
Yeah, Green getting traded over from the Oakland A's in the Alberto Callaspo trade in late July. Here's Howie Kendricks. Had a chance to talk to him today. He wants to get back this year. He said that he'd like to come back and play.
Angels got a 2-out single in the first, did no damage. Another one here now in the second. That I think is the type of pitch Ron Gardenhire was talking about. You have to pitch in off the plate, use your cutter, get the right-handed hitters to respect a presence inside if you want the changeup down and away to be effective.
Yeah, you have to work both sides of the plate. Hitters have a tendency, if you're just working away, they'll start diving. That's why that pitch inside, very important. Like that.
I got the call.
You go in and then you go away. So 2 good pitches right here by Hernandez to Green. Put that in a bottle and keep that perfect pitch.
2 strikes to Green.
Now ahead in the count.
Left center field. Arcia chasing it. He's there to end the inning. Another scoreless inning for Pedro Hernandez. Years, but Weaver's was a little bit different.
Well, back on April 7th in Arlington, Texas, a ball right back over the head of Weaver. He got out of the way and ended up fracturing his left arm. Came out of the ball game and then activated back in late May on May 29th.
Plouffe, Colabello, and Parmelee facing Weaver here in the Twins' second. First pitch lays to the left field corner, but hook foul. What the Angels found out after that injury, though, that their rotation wasn't nearly deep enough. In any case, even with a healthy Weaver, but then they had to proceed without him. But guys like Joe Saunders really, or Joe Blanton, really struggled. The Twins beat him a couple of times.
Well, Jason Vargas had that blood clot that put him on a disabled list. So, yeah, they've had some injuries to that starting rotation.
2 strikes to Plouffe. And flip foul.
I think why Weaver is so tough, especially on any hitter. Right-handers are hitting 232, left-handers 234, 233 overall.
He's a big kid. I mean, tall kid, about 6'5", 6'6", and he comes at you where he steps toward that third baseline. Very tough on both sides as far as if you're a hitter. Weaver picking up a strikeout, his second.
Blue strikes out for the 97th time. He'll probably be the next Twin to reach 100 strikeouts.
It's more of a defensive swing right there. Blue had no idea where that ball was.
One down, Colabello the batter. Twins have three batters with triple digits in strikeouts. Willingham with 113 yesterday. Dozier and Florimone got to 100 strikeouts. Here's a ball bounced to third. Field has the second hop, throws low. Trumbo digs it out, 2 down. And that'll bring up Chris Parmelee. You can get involved in the game. Let us know who you think will be the Arby's Value Player of the game. Text the word value, followed by a space in the player's name to short code 234-234. Chris Parmelee.
You know, we talked about, Trumbo, 162 strikeouts. Hamilton struck out, but these guys, are hitting home runs with those strikeouts. Right. Well, the Twins are just striking out a lot and not hitting a lot of home runs.
Parmelee takes a strike.
Parmelee coming back up in 45 ball games in AAA Rochester. He hit .231, hit 3 home runs.
2 strikes. In Parmelee's case, it's a little bit different than Hicks because the Twins don't have another first baseman. They needed somebody to back up Colabello at first base. Parmelee lifts it high to right field. Calhoun over a few steps. And Weaver has a 1-2-3 second inning. And it was a cold, rainy day. We picked up about 60 degrees, I think, from that day. And that was rain. It looked like it was awfully close to snow. Stocking caps out and all that. And finally, they decided, you know what? Let's try it in September 9th when it'll be 93 degrees.
Isn't that nicer?
Now, you and I both have a great deal of, or had a great deal of professional respect for the Angel TV announcers, Victor Rojas.
No.
And
maybe you did. I never.
Mark Gubas, at least I did. Now, when they were here in April, they had the windows closed because it was cold. Now, they've got the windows closed because it's too hot.
There's a word for that, but I can't say it on the air.
Well, looking at that, it made me think of all the playoff games the Vikings played against the Rams at Met Stadium.
Oh, yes. Bud Grant.
And Bud Grant said there aren't going to be any heaters, right? We're just going to have long sleeve, something on under our jerseys and all that. We're going to play in the elements. And the Rams would get off the plane and start shivering. They didn't stop till they got back on the plane after the Vikings beat them. So I think this is a baseball extension of that.
Yes.
Has nothing to do with the play on the field, but at least at the broadcast level.
We're gamers, okay?
We're gamey at times, but 2-2 to Field. Swinging a foul. Field called up perhaps just for a day or two. As you mentioned, they've got their AAA team in the second round of the playoffs. AA team is in the playoffs, so is the top Class A team. Field may be returned to Salt Lake City in a day or two.
Yeah, the Angels' third baseman, Jimenez, bothered by a couple thumb injuries.
Chopped to third. Plouffe has it, fires on the run, and a good play. Nice stretch by Colabello to one away in the third.
Yeah, we have seen Chris over at first base do a good job of that, really stretch out. And he doesn't do it until Trevor Plouffe releases the ball. And right there, Plouffe coming in, and then right there you can see him stretch out as far as he can. Nice catch, nice stretch by Colabello for the first out.
Might not seem like much, but people who've been around the game a lot longer than I have say that's almost a lost art. A first baseman really stretching out, and you can get a lot of extra outs by extending yourself. Kent Hrbek was one of the best at it. Did the old butterfly splits.
Yeah, he did the splits and then would fall over.
And then, you know, Al Newman, somebody come over and help pick him up and be ready to go. Deep to right center field. Parmalee hoping for a bounce. And it'll be Presley firing it back to the infield. A one-out double for Cowgill.
That ball hit off the wall right there. About 15 feet up that wall in right center field. And Cowgill gets his third double as an Angel. Taking that fastball the other way. So third hit for the Angels, first extra base hit.
A one-out double. Eric Ibar hit a liner right at Florimon in the first inning. Mendez has given up a hit in every inning. Nice pickup. Florimon sets, fires. Good play for out number 2.
Well, that's a nice play because Eric Ibar very quick of feet from home to first, and that ball hit sharply, and Florimon set himself up nicely, got the weight on that back foot, able to make a good throw. That ball looked like it could have been a base hit between third and short, but Florimon backhands it, and a good accurate throw across the infield for the second out.
I don't know that we've ever seen him do the Derek Jeter jump and throw play from the hole like that. He much rather would plant that right leg and put a little extra behind the throw. 2 down, a runner at third, and Mike Trout. With a blistering line drive right up the middle. Somehow it avoided both of Hernandez's legs and skipped out into center field for a 2-out single.
They were about knee high too, kneecap high. Luckily it found a way through.
1 strike. Remember when Trout, or when we were in Anaheim, I had a chance to spend a few minutes with Trout. He's a well-spoken young man, very easy to talk to, but I was asking him specifically about the Twins and prospects Byron Buxton and Miguel Sano. 1-1 inside. And Trout had heard of Buxton and what he had done and drawn comparisons to their numbers when they were each in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Back then, Cedar Rapids was the Angels affiliate in the Midwest League. Now, of course, the Twins affiliate. And then I talked to him about Sano, and I asked Trout, I said, what was the biggest jump for you to make in the minor league ladder? 2-1, 3-1, and he said without question it was high A to double A. He said that was the toughest level for him to climb, and I think maybe Miguel Sano experienced a little bit of that going from high A to double A this year. His batting average went down. Power numbers were still there.
Yeah, dangerous pitch right here to a very, very good hitter.
3-2.
Hit the corner, down and away. See, Trout kind of walks away smiling, saying that that's not a strike. You know, one thing about this young guy right here, you know, he came in, what's he hitting at? 338, 339 right now with that base hit in the first one. But see what Fox Track says, it hit the strike zone, the lower part. Very good eye. 89 walks for Trout. That's a good pitch.
And Trout will go back to the field believing strike 2 and strike 3 were out of the strike zone.
Is presented by CenturyLink, your link to what's next. By Grand Casino, the best stories start here. And by Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, for the everyday competitor in all of us. No score, bottom of the third. Twins making up the final game of the year between themselves and the Angels. The Angels head to Toronto after the game. The Twins stay here to take on the A's. Pedro Florimon swings through an off-speed pitch, strike 1.
Yeah, Weaver's got an outstanding changeup. 24 pitches for Jarrett Weaver, 21 strikes.
There's a bunt, beautifully laid down, and it'll be a base hit for Florimon. A bunt that hugged the edge of the grass field, had no chance.
Yeah, I'm surprised that field didn't allow that ball to continue to see maybe if it rolls, but that sure looked like it was going to stay on the grass the whole way. Great bunt right here by Florimon. So third hit for the Twins.
Video machine, the only thing in the 5-state area that's frozen right now. Here's Presley, went down looking his first time up.
Weaver's a guy that the clubs can run against. 10 stolen bases in 11 attempts, and Florimon leading the Twins with 13 stolen bases.
That's one telling number, leading the team with 13 steals. The Twins have stolen 45 and been caught 30 times. That is, according to my Minnesota high school math, 60%.
That's not good.
My math or the percentage?
Either one. No, your math is fine. The 45 and 30, not good.
1-0 to Presley and another throw to first.
Well, Weaver, as I mentioned earlier, making his 15th career start against the Twins. This is his 229th major league start. Won 20 games last year, 20-5, had a great year. 111 major league wins, only 60 losses.
Presley pops it foul, 1-1. Tonight's cold hard fact brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. Highest batting average by American League outfielders in September. Mike Trout at 500. And Alex Presley on the list in limited number of at-bats. Presley with 32 at-bats with the Minnesota Twins and a dozen hits.
You can see the pitches right there, 27, 23 strikes.
There goes Florimon, and the pitch popped up near third. Florimon doesn't get to second base. He retreats. The catch is made. The Twins put the hit and run on, one down. Pinto will hit next, but first we can tell you about the offer for group outings here at Target Field. It could be a business group, a church group, school group, or maybe some friends and neighbors. Visit twinsbaseball.com/groups or call 800-33-TWINS and get a great deal on group tickets today. Twins seeing Presley on a daily basis for the first time and want to find out what type of player he is. Looked like they put the hit and run on there, and he popped it up instead of hitting it on the ground. Ball one.
And I think that's another reason that Aaron Hicks didn't come up, because they want to see Presley out there every day out in center field.
Pinto doubled to right center field his first time up. Twins got him as far as third base before the inning ended. For Florimon, 13 steals and 18 tries. A little bit better steal percentage. Ron Gardenhire saying in his media session this afternoon. First the 1-0 pitch to Pinto. Strike called. He said when the Twins were in Anaheim a month or so ago, he and Mike Scioscia spent some time talking about the teams they used to have. And it wasn't so much wistful about the playoff-bound teams as it was just the style of play. In each case, you had the Angels and the Twins, teams that like to do a lot of running, hit and running.
Very athletic, both teams.
The drive to left center field. That's hit pretty well. Trout going back. Off the wall. Florimon round second, on his way to third. They're going to wave him around, and he will score. Pinto with another double. And maybe more impressively, he knocked it out of Trout's reach in center.
Boy, Pinto has had 2 at-bats. That ball is just exploding off of his bat. First at-bat hit that double to right center. Here, looked like an off-speed pitch. A changeup. He just reaches out and takes Trout all the way to the wall. Trout trying to time his leap, but the ball gets off the wall and then gets behind him. Came from about 6 inches from being a 2-run home run. Instead, it's an RBI double. Twins take a 1-0 lead.
And now Dozier. Breaking ball to center, a base hit. Pinto around third. He's going to be held up. The throw sailing off target on one hop to Iannetta. First and third, one away. I guess as it relates to Pinto, you look at Dozier getting a slow breaking ball and driving it hard. What you hear about hitting prospects, and we'll put Pinto in that category right now. They can come up here and they can hit the fastball, and that's all well and good. But then as soon as they start seeing breaking stuff and changeups, then it's a different matter. Here's a guy who facing the #1 pitcher for the Angels, and he's got 2 doubles and he hasn't seen the fastball yet. One off the slider, one off the changeup.
Oh, Weaver doesn't have that fastball that's exploding. You know, he relies on changing speeds, breaking balls, keeping the ball down. He's left a couple balls up here. That pitch to Dozier, the breaking ball left up. And Dozier gets his second hit. 5 hits for the Twins.
Arcia takes outside.
Now you go back to last 3 starts for the Twins against Jarrett Weaver. He's 3-0 with an ERA of 0.39. In 23 innings over his last 3 starts, only allowed 5 hits. In 23 innings, only 1 run. So the Twins are doing some damage to Weaver here.
And they need to get this runner from third in with 1 out.
Even in the first inning, the Twins, time after time this year, have not been able to come up with a big hit. Runners in scoring position average very low.
Arcia almost did. He hit a 1-hop smash fielded nicely by Trumbo. Swinging a foul, 1-1.
Yeah, he couldn't have hit that ball any harder, and Trumbo just kind of reached out and made a nice snag of that 1-hopper.
When we first got our initial glimpses of Arcia, we were told the ball really jumps off his bat. Well, now we're seeing the very same thing from Pinto. 1-1. Dribbled foul, 1-2.
Change up right there. Arcia way out front.
Arcia very strikeout prone, something he'll have to work on. 94 strikeouts, 294 at bats. One and two. Runner goes in the dirt. It gets away from Iannetta. Should be a stolen base for Dozier. He was off with the pitch.
And Dozier picks up his 11th stolen base of the year. Gets in the scoring position with 1 out.
That's just anticipating that Weaver was going to throw a breaking pitch in the dirt and sending the runner as a result of that.
Yeah, again, Weaver not the quickest toward home plate either. 11 stolen bases off him now in 12 attempts.
2-2 to Arcia. Hit to the outfield, should score 2. Taken for a call, 3rd strike, 2 down.
Ball clocked here at 84 miles an hour, but in a perfect spot. Inner half of the plate, and Weaver picks up his 3rd strikeout. Hit the glove of Iannetta.
Doman had the chance like this in the first inning and popped up to short. Actually, the pop-up into short center field, Ibar was the one who gloved it. Tapper up the line, and a fair ball. It'll end the inning. The Twins get 1 and lead 2. They got 3 more hits against Weaver. They take the first lead. caught up.
Well, Pedro Hernandez, 3 shutout innings so far, a couple strikeouts. And he got a little offensive help by his catcher. Pinto hitting a double, an RBI that scored Florimon for the only run of the ballgame so far.
Pinto will face, will get behind the plate with Trumbo, Hamilton, and Iannetta facing Hernandez.
Hernandez 46 pitches, 28 strikes. 12 batters, 7 first pitch strikes.
And the first pitch laced to left. Trumbo hit the ball hard his first time up. He gets a leadoff single here in the 4th. Tonight's AT&T Twitter poll, and we're asking you which of the Twins September call-ups are you most intrigued to watch? Vote via Twitter using the hashtags on the screen. MN Parmelee, Diamond, Escobar, DeVries. All players that we have seen before.
I know Parmelee wants to have good at-bats here as the season winds down. There's Escobar. You know, he's going to be used part-time pinch runner, that type of situation. I'm curious to see how Scott Diamond does.
He would be my pick, yes. The Twins, as they move forward to next year, if they're going to have a competitive starting rotation, stands to reason Scott Diamond's going to be a big part of that. We've seen him pitch very well last year and not well at all this year. 1-0 to Josh Hamilton. Went down swinging his first time up. 2-0. Laz Diaz calling balls and strikes. We've held over the umpiring crew from the prior series for this makeup game. 2-0. Fouled away. And I say we've done that. We of course had nothing to do with it. We're just up here witnessing it like everybody else.
Well, I walked out of the ballpark yesterday with first base umpire Mark Wagner, who makes St. Paul home here, and said he got another night to spend time with his family.
Spent some time with Laz Diaz after the game yesterday, and he was telling me they're staying over to do this game. 2-1. Swing and a miss. Nice changeup by Hernandez.
He struck out Hamilton in his at-bat in the second inning on a breaking ball down and away. See if they go back there again. And he laid off of that one.
Jacked his swing. 3-2.
It's almost the same pitch that he swung through in the second inning.
Well, we'll see if Trumbo takes off here.
He held up. Trumbo 5 stolen bases in 7 attempts.
Haven't seen Pinto's arm yet. Might get a chance to see it here. Trumbo stays put. And the pitch is swung on and missed.
Good breaking ball right there. And Hamilton goes down for the second time. Hernandez picks up his 3rd strikeout. A lot of confidence in that breaking ball. Good location down.
1 down. That'll bring up Iannetta.
You're thinking ground ball. 4 double plays turned behind Hernandez, this being his 9th start.
Off the outside corner. Ball 1. One and 0 to the Angel catcher. 2-0. Hernandez appears to be a pitcher that's going to give up hits. What he needs to do to be successful is scatter them, and he's done that so far here tonight. 4 hits, 1 in each inning. 2-1. Came inside with a cutting fastball and got a foul ball. Talked about a little bit yesterday in Andrew Alber's start. This is a Twins team, an organization that does not have a wealth of left-handed pitching. And Alber's trying to leave a good impression for next year, but then so too is Pedro Hernandez. Taken low, 3-1.
He's trying to get that ground ball. He's keeping the ball down in the strike zone now. He's got to elevate a little bit here. He does not want to walk Iannetta. Iannetta's hit into 7 double plays.
Popped up. Foul, out of play. 3-2. A 3-2 pitch in the Hamilton at bat. The Angels did not send Trumbo. We'll see if they send him here.
I think it's kind of a compliment to Hernandez. He's pretty good at holding on runners.
Conservative lead by Trumbo. He stays put. The pitch line to right center field. Parmelee had to backhand that skittering first hop. Pair of hits now in the 4th. First and second, one down. That'll bring up Cole Calhoun.
A fastball right here that just stayed up a little bit. Iannetta, kind of an inside-out swing, hits it sharply into right. That keeps Trumbo from going from first to third.
Calhoun with a 2-out single in the second. Pulled one sharply through the hole on the right side of the infield. Strike on the outside corner.
Good fastball, good location at 90 miles an hour.
Hernandez, velocity-wise, a tick, maybe 2 higher than Andrew Albers, but still not in any stretch of the imagination considered a power pitcher. Just off the corner with a 91-mile-per-hour fastball. Albers, I don't believe, has hit 90, but we've seen him hit 89 when he wants to.
It's about location, location, location. You know, you don't have to throw 98, 99 miles an hour to win at the major league level. Jarrett Weaver, a great example of that. 111 major league wins, only 60 losses, because he changes speed so well.
Weaver giving up the first run of the game. Each team with 5 hits. First time the Angels have had 2 base runners on in 1 inning. 1-1 to Calhoun. Down the line, a base hit. It'll tie the game at least. Iannetta around second. He's going to be held at third. It's a double for Calhoun. And the game is tied at 1. Second and third with 1 away.
Yeah, breaking ball just stayed up right there, and Calhoun just hitting it sharply down that right field line. For Calhoun, his 5th double of the year. Pulling that ball into the corner. Parmelee has to retrieve it. Get it back in. Keeps Iannetta at third base, but Trumbo scores the tying run.
Second and third, 1 down. Grant Green, the batter, hit a fly ball to left center, caught by Arcia to wrap up the second inning. Middle infielders back, corner infielders playing even with their bases roughly. Plouffe maybe a step deeper at third. Outside, ball 1. Figures that Hernandez, making his first appearance against all of these Angel hitters, would have a tougher time of it Second time through the order. First time through the order, just 2 hits and 9 at bats. And now second time through the order, they are 4 for 7. Popped up a foul ball that'll reach the seats.
Yeah, but you know what? Most of his pitches have been down in the strike zone. He fell behind on Iannetta. They had to come in with a fastball on a 3-2 pitch. He's trying to get that ground ball, but he's just missing a bit low right now. You'd rather miss low than up in the zone.
One and one.
That one he just tried to overthrow. 65 pitches, 38 strikes for Hernandez.
I'm just going to bring that up. You know what we've seen from Hernandez when he has succeeded, he's been a 5 to 6 inning a guy pitcher because long counts, high pitch count. Dribbled foul.
Well, I think that's what was so impressive at his last start. I know it's the Houston Astros, but he threw only 70 pitches and he went out for the 7th inning and was taken out. Here he has 66 pitches, trying to get the second out here in the 4th inning.
2-2. Not much of a strikeout pitcher. Hernandez already has 3 of them. He could use one here. That's a fair ball. Plouffe sets, fires. Good play by Trevor Plouffe. A long throw from foul territory. And he got green for out number 2.
Yeah, very nice play by Trevor Plouffe. He kind of looked home. I don't think he had a chance to get Iannetta at home, but Plouffe making a nice play, probably saving maybe a double and another run. Backhand right there. And then the long throw. Again, Calaballo stretches out. Nice defensive play by Trevor Plouffe. Green will get the RBI, his 12th of the year, and the Angels take a 2-1 lead.
Tommy Field, the batter. And Trevor's throwing over the final months of the season has improved. That's a very long throw that he had to have some starch on to get the batter. One and 0 to Field. On the ground sharply, Florimone picks it up. Colabello, the inning ends. 3 hits, a couple of runs for the Angels, and now they lead by a run. McDonald's. Try the new premium McWrap at McDonald's today. I'm loving it. And by Toyota. Let's go places. To find your nearest Toyota dealer and check out our current offers, visit buyatoyota.com. don't even know if that youngster was born when this series started.
Beautiful baby.
Oh, honestly, that baby might be less than 4 months old.
Yeah.
See, everything's by design. Plouffe swinging and missing. We were rained out just so that young child could see its first baseball game. Twins and Angels.
And a baby looked like an angel.
In September. Plouffe driving one to left center field. Cowgill over. He's not going to get there. It'll be another extra base hit. Plouffe digging for second, and he's in with a leadoff double. Another double for the Twins. Their third against Jared Weaver.
Plouffe has been swinging a very good bat over the last 20 ball games since August 18th. Plouffe's average has raised about 10 points. That ball slicing it right in the gap. Trout has to get it back in, and Trevor Plouffe with his 21st double of the year.
Kirby Puckett used to call those hanging breaking balls gifts from God. And Trevor got a gift and hammered a double. Here's Colabello. On the outside corner, a strike. While Colabello has a backup now on the roster in Chris Parmelee, the Twins still envision Colabello getting plenty of at-bats here in the final 21 games. And in 1-1.
You know, if you're a viewer at home, you can really kind of see why Weaver is so tough against right-handers, where he steps. I mean, he really throws across his body, and then his momentum carries him through. But you can almost see the two different marks, one where Hernandez lands and one where Weaver lands, and it's almost like 2 feet apart.
Tap foul.
Good change up there. I'm sure somewhere someone wanted to kind of get him to open up a little bit, but that's the way he throws.
But you said early on you were that way.
I was that way. Marv Grissom, my pitching coach, actually put a chair down, and I had to step over it to open up a little bit. Because I landed on my heel. Weaver doesn't really land on his heel. He kind of lands, and then his momentum will go him toward first base like that.
2-2.
So he's able to get his upper torso over the ball and over his hip area.
Colabello with a bouncer to third his first time up. Twins want him to at least advance Plouffe up a base after the leadoff double.
Yeah, it's a great angle right here. You can almost see the dark dirt area. That's where that left. Look at that right there.
Well, because of that, some teams have suggested that Weaver takes advantage at home of the fake rock display they have out in left center field. That his pitch, which comes from way over here, way to the right, at its release point, the ball is over, coming out of the rocks instead of the batter's eye.
Very, very nice placement of those rocks.
Up the middle, it'll advance the runner. Ibar to Trumbo, and Colabello will get handshakes, pats on the back, and a few attaboys when he gets in the dugout.
Good at bat. A productive out.
You can set your compass due north Thursday nights on Fox Sports North. Bill Shirk and Laura Schara will take a look at the stories and adventures of outdoor enthusiasts in the upper Midwest. Due North Outdoors, Thursday at 6:30, only on Fox Sports North.
You know, at the old ballpark in Baltimore, there used to be a white house that was kind of over the batter's eye. And they said Jim Palmer was a guy that was really over the top.
Oh, yeah?
And sometimes it would come out of the house.
Speed pitch just misses to Parmelee. Angels bring the infield in here with the tying run at third.
You see, the batter's eye is black here. Remember when we first opened up here, it was more on the green side. Mm-hmm. Now they've darkened it, but I think they should whiten it. A little white paint.
In fact, like wallpaper, have little patterns of baseball speckled throughout the whole batter's eye.
And better yet, let's turn the lights off.
2-0. You'd get to 300 wins yet, wouldn't you?
Why
You'd come back out of retirement.
That's how I had 60 shutouts.
Yeah.
I pitched when the lights were out.
First 3-ball count for Weaver. Florimon on deck.
It's a big at-bat right here for Parmelee. Needs to drive him in.
Instead, he'll take a walk.
Weaver's first walk of the ball game.
Florimon led off the third with a bunt single and scored on Pinto's double. And as we saw, Hernandez looking for a strikeout in the top of this inning with men on base. That's what Weaver will be going for here. We mentioned yesterday Florimon struck out for the 100th time in 357 at bats. Right off the end of the bat, strike one.
Big slow curveball by Weaver. Weaver's had 12 double plays turned behind him, this being his 22nd start.
One strike to Florimon, tying run at third, one away. Just missed the corner. Foul back, 1-2.
This is an area that the Twins hopefully next year will do a better job of, even though they've hit 255 on the road, or excuse me, at home. Just these situations right here, pick up a run, tie the ball game. Florimon's hit only into 5 double plays, so pretty quick out of that box.
1-2. Strike him out.
Change up.
2 down. And that'll bring up Presley.
Weaver picking up his 4th strikeout, and like his 3rd strikeout, came at the right time in the 3rd inning with a couple of runners on. So it's not an overpowering fastball, it's just great location down in the zone.
Presley 0 for 2. Dozen hits and 33 at bats now for Presley. The average at 364.
Yeah, you put those two together, the runners in scoring position total is 230, which is the 4th lowest in the American League.
And we've seen it enough. It boggles the mind that there would be 3 teams worse than that.
I bet you Houston's one of them.
You're probably right. Ball 1 to Presley.
Maybe Miami.
Well, the Twins with 3 doubles today have hit 263 on the year. It seems like half of those have been leadoff doubles, and then half of those have not come around to score. 1-0 to Presley, trying to get Plouffe in from third. Popped straight up behind the second base bag. Ibar with the catch. The Twins get a leadoff double, leave them aboard, leave 2 on in the 4th. It's 2-1.
Fifth inning. I'm Jamie Hirsch inside the Minnesota Lottery Winner's Circle with a pair, happy couple, celebrating a first anniversary, and this actually is the second time they're celebrating their anniversary at the Twins game, right?
Righto.
The first time we came here just a couple weeks ago, though, right?
Yes, that was our first one we went to. We both bought each other Twins tickets for our first anniversary. His was right after our anniversary, mine is now.
All right, well, and hey, now you get $100 worth of scratch-offs from the Minnesota Lottery to celebrate even more.
Awesome.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Enjoy the game, guys. Dick and Bert.
Yeah, thank you, Jamie, and you are both here by Circle. Happy anniversary.
Top of the fifth inning. Colin Cowgill leading things off. Eric Ibar, Mike Trout to follow.
69 pitches for Hernandez in 4 innings, 41 strikes.
Cowgill with a double his last time up. A fly ball to center his first time up. Up high, ball one. Scott Diamond is here. Twins brought their AAA call-ups up in 2 different phases today. Eduardo Escobar and others here, and second shift coming, hoping to be here right around game time, and Diamond's made it. Ron Gardenhire saying today that the Twins intend on putting Diamond into the rotation without taking anyone out. They're expanding the rotation to a 6-man rotation, and then it might be that Cole DeVries will get a start or 2 yet, and it might be that Andrew Albers or Mike Pelfrey will be skipped or taken out of the rotation to include DeVries. 1-2 to Cowgill. Foul back.
I'm looking forward to seeing Martis. He got called up. He was one of my pitchers in the WBC from Curacao. He's in that second shift. He is yet to arrive. As far as I know, he's not here this afternoon.
He didn't text you yet that he's here?
Not yet.
To short center. And Dozier with the catch, 1 away. Ibar will hit next. If you're looking for something extra special to take home after a game at Target Field, how about a bat, a ball, a jersey, all items used in a game here at the ballpark. Check it out between gates 29 and 34 out in right field. Next time you're at a ball game, stop by and find something unique. Get tickets by calling 800-33-TWINS or by visiting twinsbaseball.com. Ibar with a liner to short and a ground ball to short. Lorimer made a nice play on his ball in the hole in the third. 1-0.
Yeah, this is a guy you want to take the bunt away. Trevor Plouffe and Colabello at first base, kind of playing even with the bag.
Backhanded by Plouffe. Sets and fires, and again these throws just seem to be coming out of his hand better. They're truer across the diamond. Waist or chest high to Colabello. 2 down.
Watch him right here. Sets up, makes a good throw across the diamond.
Well, we got a third baseman on our broadcast team here. We'll have to ask Ron Coomer that. Maybe he can address that in the postgame show. The difference in Plouffe's throws over the last couple of weeks, and he wouldn't be the first player to either hit better after he started playing better in the field or play better in the field after he started hitting better. Sometimes one leads to the other, whether it should or not. It happens a lot. 2 down. Two and 0. I'm sure you found over the years that you pitched better when you were hitting better.
No chance. The word hit again. Let's just swing better.
And now 3-0 to Trout with Trumbo on deck. Right down the middle. And a walk puts Trout aboard. Mike Scioscia saying, you know, we really encourage Mike Trout to take walks because he, in essence, can take a walk and turn it into a double because of the stolen base.
Yeah, the 90th walk of the year for Mike Trout. That leads the Angels in that department.
It's a different matter than walking someone like a David Ortiz or somebody like that who's not going to steal second. You walk Ortiz, he'll be left at first until somebody gets a hit. But now Hernandez needs to pay attention to Trout at first and throws over there right away.
Yeah, again, Mike Trout with 32 stolen bases in 39 attempts. Angels have 74 stolen bases overall.
Trumbo lined out to center and then lined a single and scored in the fourth.
Ellsbury shut down for the year. Jay Davis with 40. There's Trout. I believe Ellsbury shut down for the year.
I think he got a second opinion.
Did he?
And even though they discovered a broken bone, they're hoping with an orthotic or some means that after being shut down for a while, they'll hopefully be able to get him back. That remains to be seen.
I'd like to have him for postseason.
Means an awful lot to that Red Sox team. One strike to Trumbo. And now a ball. Trumbo leading the team with 162 strikeouts and 552 at bats.
Again, only one stolen base off of Hernandez in 5 attempts. Trying to keep Trout close, but there's 2 outs. You want to make a good pitch to this big, strong man here at home plate.
Hit hard and foul. Ball boy gets out of the way.
Don't blame him.
Mentioned Trumbo has 162 strikeouts. And he's 5th in the league. He's got Adam Dunn, Mike Napoli, Chris Davis, and Chris Carter ahead of him on the strikeout list. One and two, Hernandez to Trumbo. Pitch is up.
That's what we were talking about, Dick. Even though he struck out 162 times, he's also 4th in the American League in home runs with 31. 8th in the American League with 89 RBIs.
Two and two. Hits are even at 6 apiece, but the Angels bunch 3 of them together early in the 4th inning to score a couple of runs. Second run, the deciding run right now, scored on the second out of the inning, a ground ball. Hope foul. We've talked about this. The Twins have already won the season series against the Angels. And they've won the season series against the Astros 5-1, Seattle 4-3, Texas 4-3. They haven't seen the Oakland A's. They'll come in for a 3-game series starting tomorrow.
Yeah, Twins are 17-8 against the Western Division in the American League.
4-1 so far against the Angels. Whoa!
Pito wanted that right there. He thought that might have been a strike. And I think Hernandez did too. Wow. Good pitch. See Pinto get up, almost like headed back to the dugout.
Without Fox tracks, it looked like it was inside. Full count.
Sound like a hitter.
Trout goes over the mound, and it'll bleed into center field. Trout to third, and Presley has to be aware of his speed. He throws it to the mound. Colabello cuts it off. There was a chance with Trout going. If Presley hadn't pounced on that quickly, they may have tried to score Trout from first on a single.
Yeah, because Trumbo has so much power, Florimon was shading him towards the third baseline, and this is a high chopper over the mound. Hernandez can't get it, and it trickles through the infield, and you saw that flash that went by. That was Trout.
Yeah.
So Trumbo gets his second hit.
The 2-out walk, now a 2-out single, a threat. Runners on the corners for Josh Hamilton.
Rick Anderson out to the mound to talk to his lefty.
And at least one hit in every inning, a total of 7, and the pitch count approaching 90. And Presley warming up.
Hamilton has struck out twice. Mainly Hernandez been able to get ahead and then had to chase that breaking ball. Threw him a 3-2 breaking ball in the 4th inning that struck him out, and then in the 2nd inning struck him out on a breaking ball down and away. But always a dangerous hitter.
Hernandez to Hamilton, and drilled past Colabello into the right field corner. Trout scored. Trumbo to third, and he will be held with Parmelee again. A quick retrieve in the corner, and it's 3-1.
Well, I think they tried that breaking ball, but it left inside, and Hamilton looked like he was sitting on it. An RBI double for Hamilton, his 29th double of the year, and it's a 3-1 Angels lead. Take a look at the pitch right there, breaking ball, and Hamilton. The other breaking balls were out over the plate. This one kind of stayed over the plate and hammered into that right field corner.
It'll be the end of the road for Hernandez, who gave up a lot of hits. Up until the 4th inning, didn't give up any runs, but 2 in the 4th. After 2 are out, a walk, a single, a double, and he'll be taken out in the 5th with 2 gone and 2 men in scoring position.
The Angels jumped on him with 3 hits and a couple runs, and here with 2 outs, like you mentioned, Dick, the walk to Mike Trout. You know, Trumbull's base hit up the middle. Hamilton sat on that curveball that Hernandez got him out the first 2 times up, but got the RBI double.
Brian Presley coming in, making his 43rd relief appearance. He last worked on Wednesday in Houston. He worked 3 2/3 innings, allowed only 2 hits, no runs. Even though the Twins lost that ball game 6-5, he pitched outstanding. He's done a good job out of that bullpen in his rookie season.
After the first time through the order, the Angels were 6 for 13 against Hernandez. And a big at bat here in the 5th inning. The Angels lead by 2, but they've got 2 runners in scoring position with 2 out. Iannetta takes up and away, ball 1. Iannetta with a single and a run scored his last time up. Left it over the inner half of the plate, but it was taken for a strike. The Angels in September, not with the players they thought they'd be putting out there in September, but they played their best baseball in the season's final month.
And again, they've won 12 of their last 16 ball games.
Check swing and a foul, 1-2.
Opponent's hitting 244 off of Presley, making his 43rd relief appearance. Right-handers are hitting 230, left-handers 261.
Presley's got a biting, hard curve that he throws in the dirt a lot. We'll see if he is asked to do that here, whether Pinto calls for that pitch. Breaking pitch down and away, and Iannetta got a piece of it.
Yeah, he just left it up a little bit, and Iannetta fouled it off. Presley with just over 69 innings pitched. He has 44 strikeouts.
There's a check swing, strike 3. Pinto steps into fair territory to complete the strikeout. Presley gets his man. The Angels add 1 more after a 2 out. The walk does some damage. Hot, steamy night here in Minneapolis. He's got the first run of the game. The Angels now with 3 unanswered runs. Holmes, Pinto, a pair of doubles. Pedro Hernandez taken out of the game. Pinto missed a 2-run home run his last time up by inches.
It'll be interesting to see how Weaver tries to go against Pinto here. There's a fastball. It just misses.
On away, ball 1. Trout went after the drive that hit the very top of the wall by the bullpen in left center. 1-1. Inside, 2-1. Three and one. In Pinto's case, early in his minor league career, he wasn't considered that much of a hitting prospect. This is a fairly recent phenomenon. He's figured things out at high A, double A, triple A, and so far here in the bigs. And he takes a walk leading off the 5th inning.
After Weaver, his second walk. Looked like he tried to go with them more fastballs right there because the first 2 doubles seemed to be on breaking balls or changeups up. But Weaver ends up walking him here to lead off the bottom of the 5th.
Dozier has a pair of singles. He'll hit next. Didn't score last inning after a leadoff double. See if they can take advantage of the leadoff walk. Dozier takes down and away, ball 1. And there's a pitch over for a strike.
Another off-speed pitch. 63 pitches for Weaver.
'51 extra base hits for Brian Dozier on the year. Pair of singles so far tonight. Popped up right center field. Calhoun looking at Trout. Trout calling for it. One away. And that'll bring up Oswaldo Arcia. Arcia came up in a game-breaking situation. The Twins had already scored once. Had a couple of runners on with 1 out. And then Weaver worked him over, got a called 3rd strike. And then he got Doumit to bounce out, and that was the end of the crooked number threat. Swing and a miss. Arcia has not homered since August 10th in Chicago. And if he can hit one here, the game would be tied, and at least for the time being, all would be right with the world.
Yeah, Weaver has given up 16 home runs.
9 of them in his last 7 starts. So he's going to foul 2 strikes. -1 in the home run department this year. They've allowed 138, hit 137. Angels are a -5. They've hit 146 and allowed 151. Pop straight up. He's gotten so many hitters out in front of his off-speed stuff, and all they do is hit it lazily in the air, 2 down. Before Doumit's at bat, with the football season now in full swing, submit your Gophers and Vikings questions to our weekly mailbag at foxsportsnorth.com. Check back for answers later in the week. 2 down, and here's Ryan Doumit. Pop up to short, and ground ball to first. Miles per hour, floating over at the knees.
I think I was seeing a high as 87 from Weaver, so he just changed his speed so well.
But that, I mean, I remember him recently with a 91, 92 mile per hour fastball. If he has that, he hasn't thrown it much. Might be the top end, as you said, 87, 86.
Well, they said that Truck said he was at 88 one time, but you can see as low as 70. Just change the speed. Nothing's the same speed.
1-1 to Arcia. Hook to the right field corner. Fair ball. Let's watch Pinto run. He's at second. He'll be held at third. Arcia with a double with 2 down in the 5th. That'll bring up Plouffe.
Yeah, Doumit did a good job of waiting back nicely on that. So Ryan Doumit is 24th double of the year. And hooking this ball into the corner. See him already stretched out, but reaches out and pulls that ball down that right field line.
Nice retrieve by Calhoun. A 2-out hit here by Plouffe, you'd think would tie the game. Twins have had ample opportunities. They left 2 men on in the first inning. Had a 1-2-3 second. Had 1, should have had more in the 3rd. Leadoff double, didn't score in the 4th.
And that was Trevor Plouffe. Let's see if he can hit another double.
Off the plate. 80-mile-per-hour breaking pitch. Angels bunched 3 hits together to score a couple of runs back in the 4th inning. Fastball that is called a strike. 1-1. Fouled away. 1-2. Weaver has struck out 1 in every inning up until the 5th inning here. And he's ahead of Plouffe 1-2. And he's picked some really good spots to get his strikeout.
Let's see if he goes inside or does he, go take a change up, down, and away.
Off the plate, 2-2.
Tried the fastball away. Blocked at 89. Finding a little extra on the last pitch.
Two and 2. To center field. Down for a hit. Pinto scores. They're going to wave. Doumit around. Throw to the plate. Not in time. And Plouffe delivers the game-tying hit.
Weaver missed with that fastball away, came back with a slow breaking ball, and Doumit hit it, Plouffe hit it softly into center field. Pinto and Doumit score. It's a 3-3 ball game. Trout comes charging in, makes a throw toward home plate, and that allows Trevor Plouffe to go from first to second.
75 pitches for Weaver, and the Twins finally get a big 2-out hit to tie it up. That'll bring up Colabello. Big swing through something at 85 miles per hour. Something at 87 miles per hour, same result. Two strikes to Colabello. Trying to deliver another 2-out hit for the Twins. Got him looking. And the Twins get a couple. They take advantage of the leadoff walk. Get a couple of big 2-out hits. One by Domak, one by Fluke, and it's 3-2. Melting on a hot muggy night, but it's brought to you by Frostburg Coors Light.
Pinto almost hitting that ball out of the ballpark, just out of the reach of Mike Trout. That coming in the third inning when he drove in the Twins' first run.
Bottom third of the Angel lineup to face Ryan Pressly, who got a strikeout to strand 2 men in scoring position. In the fifth, the Angels got one but left a couple on, and now Cole Calhoun, Grant Green, and Tommy Field to hit for the Angels. Up and in, ball one. Asked Ron Gardenhire yesterday about Pressly, and of course the Twins have had to keep him on the roster this year. He's a Rule 5. That's a Rule 5 draft pick, meaning you have to keep him on the 25-man roster. And Gardy said two things. One, he's never felt like he was a Rule 5 guy, that they had to hide him someplace or keep him on. Oh, knocked down by Pressly's bare hand, and it'll be a base hit. And Pressly says he's fine. So I've got it with the fat part of my hand.
Yeah, I just want to make sure your hand is open right there. I've done that many times. You reach out and you have to, what you're afraid of is fingernails or your fingers bent, but the open hand right here, Pressly, just reaching back, trying to barehand it, and got a piece of it, which slowed it down. So Calhoun gets his third hit of the ballgame.
Single, a double, now an infield hit, and Grant Green will bat. Anyway, Ron Gardenhire said he's never really felt like Pressly was on the team based on anything other than merit. He's pitched well enough off the handle of the bat to the screen.
Take that.
But beyond that, next year, Ron still envisions Pressly pitching out of the bullpen. He says, now you never say never. Pressly was a starter in the minor leagues, but they like his power arm out of the bullpen and project him at least into next year as being a relief pitcher again.
Well, out of the Boston organization is where the Twins got Ryan Pressly. In the minor leagues, 82 starts, 109 appearances, but I think what somebody saw was when he became a reliever. Saw the power arm.
1-1 to Green. To center and hit pretty well. Pressly back. Makes the catch on the track. Reaching second and now retreating is Calhoun, one away. Tommy Field will hit next in our Sanford Health injury report. Pujols certainly done for the year, and Well, you said Kendrick hopes to come back. I think the Angels would be surprised if he came back. There's really no incentive to, especially when you're dealing with a knee, you know, to try to.
Hey, hyperextended that knee. Again, I spoke to him before the ball game, and he said, yeah, he feels better. He hopes to come back, and you know, that's up to the organization and himself.
Field 0 for 2, couple of ground balls. Fastball down and in. And that 95-mile-per-hour fastball, the power fastball that we were speaking of. One and 0. Runner goes, pitch grounded to short. Florimon fires across to Colabello. The Angels put on a hit and run, but Florimon held his ground, was able to make the play. 2 down, runner at second.
Yeah, on that play with a right-hander up like field, it's more Dozier that's going to break towards second base than Florimon. And you're right, he held the ground and got the second out. But on the play, Calhoun does move into scoring position.
Colin Cowgill will hit. A double in the third, fly ball and a pop-up surrounding that successful at bat. Bunt attempt with 2 outs and a runner at second.
Well, Plouffe was playing back. Now Trevor kind of looking in and saying, okay, what do you want me to do? And he's heading back.
1-0. Much more experienced hitter Ivar on deck. Grizzly would like to get Cowgill here. Ivar, of course, also a switch hitter. Two and one.
Cowgill, 27 years old, originally signed by the Diamondbacks, came up with the Arizona Diamondbacks in 2011. Then Oakland, Mets, and now wearing an Angel uniform.
Two and one to Colin Cowgill. Ooh, in the elbow. As Diaz saying, no, you're not going to first. Here comes Mike Scioscia. The ball reacted like it hit the bat, but it may have hit Cowgill before it hit the bat. Yeah, Laz Diaz is not going to allow Cowgill to go to first.
It must be saying that it hit the bat or the knob of the bat.
Cowgill tried to show the area of impact on the elbow. And in case you're wondering, this is one of those situations that won't be reviewed next year. For some reason, a hit by pitch is not reviewable next year.
That's good.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, all these things that they're going to review anyway is going to delay the game. So,
but if it hit him, he should be awarded first base.
Well, let's see if it hits him or not.
Sure it did, right off the point of the elbow. Ouch. There was the bat was nowhere near it.
That was just a bad call.
Where have I heard that before? And he rolled his, sleeve up to try to show the point of the impact. 2 and 2. And now bouncer to third. Plouffe has it, waits for the traffic to clear in front of him. Colabello digs out a low throw. And it's a scoreless top of the sixth.
Thanks in large part to Yosmil Pinto, and he's the subject of tonight's Grand Casino Social Spotlight. He's enjoying just about the best first week in the major leagues that he could have imagined, and so we want to know what has impressed you most about the young Twins catcher so far. Use the hashtag PintosPlay to tweet in your thoughts. Maybe it's the job he's been doing behind the plate, or maybe it's the power we've seen from him so far already with 2 doubles tonight. Whatever your thoughts are, tweet them in. We'll share our favorites in our post-game show.
Well, thank you, Jamie. Chris Parmalee lifting one to right field, harmlessly toward Calhoun, and a quick first out here in the bottom of the sixth. Pinto also drew an awfully important walk starting the 5th inning. Weaver didn't throw him much over the plate, so he took 5 pitches, ended up at first, and scored one of the 2 runs.
And guess what? That leadoff walk, they seem to always score.
Yeah, but how come when we get leadoff doubles, they don't score?
They don't score, no.
One down in the 6th. Here's Florimon. A bunt single and a strikeout in a key spot. Strike one. Field, the third baseman, in at third base, as you might expect.
And Trumbo at first in case he wants to take the ball with him if he bunts.
Strike one, strike two.
And Trumbo will go back. And now Fields will retreat.
Doinked over his head, foul by about a foot.
Wow. The ball almost landed fair. Looked like it was right off the end of the bat. Had a lot of spin on it. Weaver's thrown so many pitches in the 70s that all of a sudden here comes that 85, 86 and kind of freezes you.
Line drive, base hit for Florimon. So a pair of hits against Weaver, a full swing and a liner to right with one down in the 6th.
Yeah, another breaking ball that just kind of stayed on the same plane, and Florimon lined it into right.
Video game that puts you in the owner's suite, now available free on iPhone and iPad. You can build your ballpark, make the decisions to guide your team to the World Series. Download MLB Ballpark Empire free today. Data and usage rates may apply. Here's Presley. He's due for a hit. He hasn't had many 0 for 3s as a Twin. Florimon checked it first.
The Twins have 9 hits against Jarrett Weaver. That's the most hits he's given up in a ball game this year.
Not much speed on this Twins team, and they have the extent of it in the lineup in play here in this at bat. You got Florimon at first and Presley at the plate. Dozier can run a little bit.
Yeah, Dozier stole a base off of Weaver in the 3rd inning.
plate, ball one.
Twins hitting well in the month of September. As a ball club, hitting .290. Hope to continue that as the season winds down.
Florimon goes, and he's in with a steal.
A great pitch to run on right there. A changeup in the 70s. And Florimon got a good jump. Second stolen base tonight off of Weaver. Florimon with his 14th stolen base. See a good jump right there. And that is throw over the second base bag, but Florimon head first slide, diving in safely. It's in the scoring position with one out.
1-1 to Presley. Hopped up again. A 78-mile-per-hour pitch, and Presley. Well, now, the last instant, Trout called off Ibar for the catch. 2 down.
Well, that's what you want. You want your outfielder to take charge, and Ibar.
That late.
Well, I mean, he may have been yelling before that, but you could see Trout was there.
Right in the palm of his glove. Twins need another 2-out hit. This one would come from Pinto. He has a pair of doubles and a walk. Right field corner. Fairly deep. Chased by Calhoun, but it's a couple rows back.
Remember I said in his last at-bat, I wonder how Weaver's going to attack Pinto, and he went with what seemed all fastballs, but he ended up walking him.
See Fiend warming up in the Twins pen. And with Weaver short of 90 pitches, Juan Gutierrez warming up in their bullpen.
And that first pitch to Pinto was a fastball. Weaver's fastball.
One strike to Pinto. What a ton, my goodness. I don't know that I've seen a ball hit there in 4 years here. It was foul by about 50 feet, but the fans still enjoyed it.
Another fastball. Pinto got the barrel of the bat out.
2 strikes to Pinto. Lifted to right at Calhoun. That ends the threat. Florimon left at second. Through 6, we're tied at 3. tie game.
Yeah, Twins took an early lead, 1-0, thanks to the RBI double by Pinto. That scored Florimon from first base. But the Angels came back, scored a couple runs in the top of the fourth inning to make it a 2-1 ball game. Hamilton driving in a run with the RBI double. And then Trevor Plouffe, a base hit to center field, scored a couple runs to tie the game in the fifth inning.
And we go to the seventh. Casey Fiend coming out of the Twins bullpen. Nice job by Ryan Presley. Got a big third out in the fifth inning. Pitched around a leadoff single in the sixth.
Yeah, Casey Fiend coming in, making his 66th relief appearance. That's the most out of the bullpen for the Twins. More strikeouts to innings pitched. Only 10 walks, 2 intentional in the 56 and the third innings pitched. Fiend last worked Saturday against the Toronto Blue Jays, 2/3 of an inning. There were only 8 pitches, 5 for strikes.
Ibar, Trout, and Trumbo in the seventh for the Angels. Fastball on the outside corner with Ibar showing bunt. A liner to short. Drive to the hole. Florimon picked it off, threw him out in the third, and then a ground ball to Plouffe. Camper right side. Colabello charges it and waits for Ibar. 1 down. 1 away. That'll bring up Trout. Trout moving over to center field. When we saw the Angels earlier, Peter Borges saw some time there, but his season is done. Right wrist issue that's going to put him on the shelf for the rest of the year.
And require surgery.
Breaking ball missing. Ball 1. Trout so far a single in the first, lining it right between the legs of Pedro Hernandez. It's called out on strikes. He's not convinced to this moment that strike 2 was strike 2 or strike 3 was strike 3. And he walked and scored in the fifth.
A good fastball right there by Casey Fiend at 93. Getting it past the swinging Trout. Fiend fastball, slider. There's the slider, a little cutter.
2-1.
Fiend's done a great job this year out of the bullpen. Had a couple of hiccups here or there, but all in all, outstanding.
Rolled between Alfredo Griffin and the first base line. In 1979, Alfredo Griffin and John Castino were in a dead heat for the Rookie of the Year award, so they split the award.
Which half did Alfredo get?
I think John got the better half. Griffin had the better career because Castino had back issues that pretty much ruined his career once they surfaced. Still see John from time to time in the Twin Cities here. Still makes his home here. 2-2 to Mike Trout. Fouled away.
Fastball at 95.
Since the All-Star break, Trout's hitting just under 400.
Yes, leads the American League with 54 multi-hit games.
There's a call, third strike. Fiend came back inside, got him 2 down.
For the second time, Mike Trout takes a call, third strike. Fiend picks up a strikeout. Good fastball inside.
2 down, and that'll bring up Trumbo. Trumbo with a line out and 2 singles. Strike one. Starting pitcher Pedro Hernandez got 14 outs, and the bullpen will get the rest of them.
When you say Casey Fiend's stock went up dramatically this year, the way that he has pitched. Brian Duensing loosening up.
To the point where when Burton struggled a little bit, Fiend kind of inherited that critical 8th inning role. Foul back. 1-2.
He's a guy you can watch. He does not fool around on that mound at all. Rubs up that ball, gets the dirt off the cleats, steps back into that pitching rubber. Pitches out of the stretch position with nobody on. Get the sign. Let's go.
Got him on a pitch a foot outside. A 3-up, 3-down 7th for Casey Fiend. And then Casey Fiend. CenturyLink linked to what's next. We will get our first look in the final weeks of the season, our first look at the Oakland A's starting tomorrow night.
On September 10th. And then the Twins go out to Oakland for a 4-game series. You can see the matchups that will start tomorrow night. Oakland A's a very, very solid ball club.
They are repeating what they did last year. They didn't get off to the terrible start this year that they did last, but here in September they put a rush on the Texas Rangers and passed them in the standings.
Cody Rasmus coming into the ball game. He was traded over to the Angels from the Atlanta Braves when the Angels traded Scott Downs. Thank goodness. He doesn't have to face the Twins. Scott Downs, I don't think the Twins have ever scored a run off of him, but we'll see how we fare against Cody Rasmus. Good fastball, curveball, changeup.
Off the plate, ball one.
Well, Jarrett Weaver worked the first 6 innings. He gave up 3 runs, 9 hits, a couple walks, 5 strikeouts.
Dozier with a pair of singles, taking outside 2-0. playing him. First thing you look at. And I was going to mention it with Casey Fien when he was still out there on the mound. You know, one of his great assets, he doesn't walk people. And in the role that he's been in with the Twins, 7th inning on, you just can't give the other team extra base runners.
Yeah, Fien only 10 walks, 2 unintentional walks. So that's 8 walks for Casey Fien. And 57 innings pitched. Outstanding.
Rasmus 3 walks or 6 walks in a total of 14 1/3 innings on the season. He came up and in, and he issued a leadoff walk to Dozier. Let's head to Los Angeles now for a Fox Sports 1 game break. Would like to take the 4-3 lead here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Arcia at the plate. Dozier stole a base on Weaver in the 3rd. He's on base now for the 3rd time tonight. Arcia 0 for 3. Hop up a ground ball and a strikeout.
Speed pitch right there.
It's over the outside corner, strike 1.
Rasmus, 25 years old. He was a Braves #1 pick back in 2006.
Swing and a miss. 0-2.
Off speed pitch.
Twins with a couple of steals. Either resulting in a run. Roller to the right side. And they throw it into left field. Dozier will try to advance to 3rd. Arcia going to 2nd. Green fired a sinker to Ibar. And the Twins catch a break and a big error in the 7th.
Yeah, a mistake right there by Green. I think, he's got to make sure he gets one out. And he threw the ball low to Ibar. No chance for Ibar. When Dozier hustling down that line, you see him leap over the ball, the throw. You see short hopping Ibar, and then Dozier scoots over to 3rd. So a big error. Let's see if the Twins can take advantage of it. Green making his 4th there.
Angels making their 99th error. And here comes Mike Butcher. Twins have made just 65 errors.
I think that's just a youngster right there, Green, trying to do too much. You want to get that guy at 2nd and then let your shortstop decide. But, Arcia goes down that line pretty quickly. It would have been a tough double play. Just trying to hurry his throw. Take a look right here.
Well, a good throw gets him, but he, in Dozier's, to his credit, he was kind of a legal entry into 2nd base, but he was veered to the outside and kind of screened Green a little bit.
Exactly.
Doman will be walked to fill him up for Trevor Plouffe. The Twins will have the bases loaded and nobody out here in the 7th. Delivered a 2-run single in the 5th. Excuse me, Plouffe did. Doman preceded that with a double into the right field corner. Loaded up, nobody out. Twins took advantage of a leadoff walk in the 5th and scored a couple.
The Angels will keep the infield in right here.
Plouffe with a double and a 2-run single and a strikeout in 3 at-bats. Average above 250 now because of a good run over the last couple of weeks and a big at bat here.
Get it airborne deep if you can.
Breaking ball missing. Foul back, 1-1. Pretty good fastball by Rasmus at 94 miles per hour. One and one to the Twins' third baseman. Up and in, 2-1.
They missed a couple times with that curveball. Almost have to sit fastball away right here.
2-1 to Plouffe. Breaking ball, swing and a miss, 2-2.
Pitch by Rasmus right there. Fastball situation. He threw the breaking ball over, got it over.
Bases full of Twins. Nobody out. 2-2 to Plouffe. Off the end of the bat, short right field. Calhoun with the catch, tagging is Dozier, heading home, and he's safe. Just got his hand in front of Ionetta's tag.
The throw just a little bit offline in foul territory. Mike Scioscia's going to come out and argue it. But Calhoun got behind that ball nicely, made a good strong throw, but it was in foul territory. Ionetta had to play the hop and then dive back toward home plate. But Dozier just got in safely.
They're going to appeal at third base with Ibar pretty demonstrative that they may have a play there. Dozier, I don't know why, but he went in with his hand behind his legs. Right there. Yeah, he got it. Slid to the batter's box side. We'll see if there's an appeal.
What the pitcher has to do is get on the pitching rubber, step off if they're going to appeal, but it doesn't look like they're going to.
Yeah. Sure what they're going to do here.
You would think that the third baseman would already be
standing
at
on the bag. Yeah.
Right.
Well, that surprises me because I thought the entire left side of the infield was talking to Rasmus saying, here's what we're going to do, but I guess not.
Trevor Plouffe picking up his third RBI of the ball game.
Two 2-0 to Colabello. Three runs batted in for Plouffe. Twins lead by a run. Hits are even at 9 apiece. Bello 0 for 3, and now he's up there with a 3-0 count.
Bad pitch from reloading the bases again. There it is.
It's been a miserable inning for Rasmus, and it started with a walk to Dozier. Twins haven't gotten a hit, yet they're on the verge of busting the game open. And that'll be the end of the night for Rasmus.
Got 3 walks in the inning, 1 intentional.
visit to the Twins Wives Organization kiosk behind home plate on the main concourse. You'll find all kinds of unique merchandise for sale to help Twin Cities charities, from cookbooks to koozies. There's something for every Twins fan, and you'll be helping people in need. Get tickets by calling 800-33-TWINS or visit twinsbaseball.com/tickets.
Only one left-hander out of that bullpen for Mike Scioscia. It's Buddy Boshears coming out in his rookie season, making his 16th appearance. 9 2/3 innings, 6 walks, 1 intentional with 6 strikeouts.
Aaron Mastroianni pinch hitting for Parmelee, a move that Ron Gardenhire probably wouldn't have been able to make before today. Mastroianni pops it foul, out of play. Parmelee wasn't here. Mastroianni might have been in the starting lineup, but there are just generally some extra bodies around here now that would allow Ron Gardenhire to make a 7th inning pinch hitting substitution. 1 strike to Mastroianni. Chance to bust the game open. The Twins already lead by a run. High, 1-1.
Scouting report on Boshears, 25 years old, with a fastball and a curveball.
High again, 2-1. And absolutely no place to put it.
They tried the breaking ball right there and missed.
Florimon would hit next. This ball got a swing and a miss. 3-2. Swung a ball 4. Full count to Mastroianni. Foul back. The guy who caught one earlier this inning, I think, just got another foul ball. He's holding up 3 fingers to the press box. He's got 3 of them tonight.
Pretty nice place to sit.
Another 3-2 to Mastroianni. Fouled off a breaking pitch. Mastroianni spent most of the year hurt or rehabbing his first pinch hitting appearance of the year. Out on a fastball, 2 down.
Going right after him with a fastball. And overpowered Mastroianni. Boshears comes in, gets a big out.
Florimon has a bunt single and a line drive single to right. He'll hit here from the right side of the plate. Fastball, strike 1. Twins have left 8 men on. The Angels have left 7 on. One and one. Talking earlier about a conversation Ron Gardenhire revealed with Mike Scioscia when the Twins were in Anaheim about the teams they used to have. 1-1 to Florimon. Chop foul off his foot. Trying to step that off. One of the things the Angels used to have, they have not had for quite some time, and that is an effective, reliable bullpen. It used to be the Angels would get decent enough starting pitching, then they would turn it over to, well, years ago, the likes of Troy Percival, Shields, guys like that.
That's why I think over the years I'm a little surprised that they went out and got Albert Pujols and then added Hamilton to where really that's what they needed to improve was their bullpen.
Right. 1-2 to Florimon. Nearly to the backstop, 2-2. And that is a large reason why the Angels will be, for the 4th year in a row, watching the playoffs rather than playing in them. Two and 2 to Florimon. Bases loaded. 2 away. Not even close.
Yeah, such a competitive market in that LA area. I mean, what the Dodgers went out and spent. I think Artie Moreno, the owner for the Angels, felt he needed to go out and kind of match something, and they ended up signing Hamilton to a big contract.
Full count. Bases full, 2 away. Ball 4. Florimon takes a lead off, or a 2-out bases loaded walk.
And Florimon says, I will take that RBI, his 40th of the year. And the Twins are up by a couple.
Now Presley will hit.
Want to take advantage of that extra out that the Twins were given here in the 7th inning. Mike Butcher out there for his 2nd visit this inning.
Presley has been particularly good in a Twins uniform hitting left-handed pitching. 6 for 13. Make that 4 walks in the inning. And all this has happened. The Twins still don't have a hit this inning.
Played 5 years in Cleveland. This is a Cleveland rally.
Inning is going leadoff walk, error by Green, intentional walk, sacrifice fly, walk, strikeout, bases loaded walk. Fastball, strike 1. Twins all over the place out there on the bases. The short center. Trout coming in. That ends it without a hit. The Twins not only score 2, but leave 3. And they lead it 5-3.
broadcast presented by the authority of the Minnesota Twins and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Minnesota Twins, LLC. Young boys know their words of this song. Brian Dunston coming out, making his 65th relief appearance. He last worked on Friday against the Blue Jays. One shutout inning. Good job by the bullpen so far. Ryan Presley, an inning in the third, no runs. Casey Bean, a couple strikeouts in his shutout inning in the seventh.
Josh Hamilton, Chris Iannetta, Cole Calhoun in the Angel eighth. Cleveland to beat Kansas City 4-3. Baltimore beat New York 4-2. The White Sox are leading Detroit 5-0. Hamilton 2 strikeouts and an RBI double.
Yeah, that double, he jumped on that first pitch that Hernandez threw, the last batter that Pedro Hernandez faced in the 5th inning. With that double down that right field corner.
Just while we have a moment here, we can point out the circular patch on the Angel uniforms. It says Lou. That is in memory of Louis Yoakum, the noted orthopedic surgeon.
Dr. Yoakum. He did my, he helped Dr. Job do my elbow, and he also did my shoulder. Dr. Yoakum was missed. He was a great man.
1-0 to Hamilton. Was leading by a pair. That blasted to left center field. And a ground rule double for Hamilton.
I don't know if you remember in the first inning or second inning, actually talking about Hamilton, they say, you know, he's really not hitting a lot of balls down in the zone, but you leave a pitch up and he can drive it the other way. Exactly what he did right here from the pitch from Brian Dunston. A pitch left up. He just drove that ball the other way. His second double of the ball game, is 30th of the year.
Iannetta, the batter. Luxury of a 2-run lead for the Twins. Popped up near first base. Colabello has a play in foul ground. And Iannetta gone on one pitch.
That is an unproductive out.
That's a terrible and a terribly short at bat. Here's Calhoun.
Not if you're a Twins fan.
No. Mastroianni staying in the game in right field. Now Calhoun has already got 3 hits tonight. Single, an RBI double, and another single.
He's due to make an out.
High and tight. Angels actually out hitting the Twins. Now Rick Anderson's going to come to the mound here, not with a trainer, but having seen one pitch to Calhoun, he's got something he wants to talk about.
Well, every pitch has been up so far. Even the 1-2 Iannetta was a pitch up that he fouled off. So Anderson maybe just coming out, maybe rushing a little bit, keep that shoulder in, drive that ball down toward the zone. Just a little reminders. Refocus.
It'll be 1-0 to Calhoun when he steps back in the box. Hamilton at second. High again. Two and 0. down, but missed wide. 3-0. Green on deck.
Opponents hitting 278 off for Brian Duensing. Left-handers actually hitting better, hitting 291. Right-handers 265.
Great call. 3-1. Watkins on the top rail next to Rick Anderson. Watkins, a coach for the Cedar Rapids Colonels this year, the Twins Midwest League affiliate, Class A level. Gene Glenn added to the coaching staff for the balance of the season. 3-1.
Tommy Watkins, good baseball man. Makes his home down in Fort Myers, Florida.
Three and 1 to Calhoun. 3-2.
Good fastball there at 92.
Strikeouts and 121 at bats for Calhoun. 3-2. Driven to the left field corner, turning left and back into the seats. Pitches for Duensing, 5 strikes. One of them driven to the gap in left center off the bat of Hamilton. Foul. Duensing at least locked into the strike zone and appears to be getting his pitches down now.
Yeah, he's better down now, yes. Right, look what I have.
If it's possible to hold memories when you're that age for the rest of your life, I think that young man will remember that. Another 3-2. And Calhoun asks for time.
Don't want to make a mistake middle in here. You want to go a strike right here, down and away.
Breaking pitch got him. 2 down.
Kind of a hanger spinner right there. Rod Gardenhire's coming out to make a pitching change, but good battle between Calhoun and Duensing. And it's Duensing who wins the battle.
I think Duensing wants to live up there with that breaking pitch.
Got away with it.
He got away with it. Phase 3, got 2. He'll leave Hamilton at second, and it'll be Jared Burton's job to try to get Grant Green. as well as any manager in the game, and that is matching up his bullpen. One of the reasons they have had so much success out there is because the manager knows when to use them.
Well, and they've all been right in the mid-60s as far as appearances, too. Nobody in the 70s.
No.
You know, just Jared Burton, he wants to get back on that horse right away because he was a loser in yesterday's ball game. Gave up a couple runs in the 8th inning in the 2-0 loss to the Toronto Blue Jays, making his 66th relief appearance. A big out right here because Tommy Fields, the number 9 hitter, if this score holds, would lead off next inning, and then you may not have to, if Perkins has to come in, not have to face Mike Trout or Mark Trumbull.
As it is, Green represents the tying run. Dunsing will hope that Burton can pick him up, and it's been a hot and cold year for Jared Burton. In 2012, his first year with the Twins, there were an occasional hiccup here or there, but they've come far more regularly this year, including his most recent outing.
Yeah, he's 2-9 out of that bullpen.
First pitch fouled back. One strike to Green. It was his error that opened the door for 2 unearned runs in the bottom of the 7th. Twins got a couple of runs without getting a hit. One strike. Strike 2.
That's a changeup right there, but up in the zone gets a called second strike. Burton with a fastball, slider, and that circle changeup.
Got him. Hamilton leads off the inning with a double. He's left there, and the lead remains 2.
With us after the final out is recorded in this game for Twins Live, presented by CenturyLink. We will take a look at what we hope will be the end to a dismal home streak for the Minnesota Twins. Their losing streak, the longest at Target Field. It reached 10 games yesterday, but that streak hopefully coming to an end here in just a few outs. We'll also take a look at Trevor Plouffe and his solid play both at the plate and in the field tonight. And of course, we'll head to the manager's office and hear from Ron Gardenhire after the game.
Thank you, Jamie. Yeah, it's not just the longest streak at Target Field, it's the longest home losing streak in Twins history.
Yeah. And hopefully they can end it. Juan Gutierrez coming into the ball game. We saw him earlier this year when he was wearing a Kansas City Royals uniform. Claimed off waivers by the Angels from the Royals back in late July. Making his 44th appearance overall.
face Josmiel Pinto, Brian Dozier, and Oswaldo Arcia in the 8th. Pinto with a good night. A couple of doubles. Key leadoff walk that led to a couple of runs in the 5th, and a fly ball to right in the 6th.
Let's go. Bat on.
Off and away, ball 1.
Now, Gutierrez has a good curveball, but it's the fastball. A little bit of lack of control with that fastball. You can get that fastball in the mid-90s.
Having a player who began the year at AA, climb to AAA, get to the big leagues, and get up here and hit over 500, that in and of itself is a sight for sore eyes for a lot of people around here. But hidden amongst all the numbers for Pinto so far, drive to right, he may have hit it too hard. That ball's over the head of Calhoun. And Pinto will go to second with what should be another double. That ball absolutely streaked over the head of Calhoun.
Well, remember earlier we were talking about the height of Calhoun. Maybe he thought he was a little bit taller, because this ball was hit on a line drive. You could have hung your clothes on this line drive. Look at this right here. Another good swing by Pinto. Kicks that ball the other way. Saw where that ball hit the bat, right on the barrel. Calhoun thought he could leap and get it, but he could not. Third double of the ball game for Pinto.
Dozier will bat. You hesitate to even call it a small sample size. The man's had 25 plate appearances, and he's only struck out twice. Now that, on this Twins team, is remarkable.
I'd have to say he's off to a pretty good start.
Yes.
Well, Dozier right here showed bunt right there. He'd like to get Pinto over to third base. That's his goal here.
It's a strike, 1-1. Dozier with a couple of hits and a key leadoff walk. Might have heard in the background, I think, Tom Bernansky saying, all right, come on, let's go over and in, meaning Dozier's job at least to get him over.
Hey, get a base hit to right and drive him in.
Foul, 1-2.
Now with 2 strikes, that kind of philosophy has to leave. Now you're just trying to make good contact. Tried to do it on the first couple. He tried to bunt. And that one there hit the other way. You want to make contact here. No strikeout.
Thinking off the plate, 2-2.
Gutierrez, 29 years old, came up with the Astros, also pitched for the Diamondbacks, and then earlier this year, the Royals. That curveball. I mentioned the good curveball, but the control problems with the fastball, but he got ahead and struck him out with that curveball.
Fox Sports is proud to team with Feeding America, a nationwide network of food banks that helps feed more than 37 million people in America each year through pantries, soup kitchens, and shelters. Visit feedingamerica.org/Fox Sports to learn how you can fight hunger in your community. Together, we're Feeding America. Arcia 0 for 4. Reached on an air. He hit the ground ball to Green. That led to the door-opening play in the 2-run 7th. Check swing, taken for a strike.
Boy, remember he hit that ball to Trumbo and made a great play in the first inning. See if he can pick up Dozier right here.
Foul back, 2 strikes.
The play was on right there. If Arcia had fouling that ball off or not made contact, Ibar was circling around second base.
Kickoff Pinto.
Not from the pitcher, but from the catcher.
2 strikes to Arcia. Pitch down and in and 2 away. Not a good at bat for Arcia, and that'll bring up Doman.
Just an ugly swing. On a breaking ball right here. Not a good at bat right there for Arcia. Second time he struck out the ball game.
Doman with a double in the middle of the 2-run 5th, and then he was intentionally walked in the 7th. Little did Mike Scioscia know, though, that Bloof would lift a sacrifice fly, and then with the bases loaded later, there'd be another walk to force in another run. Ball 1.
We mentioned earlier in the ball game that, leadoff doubles, they don't score. Walks do.
That's right.
In the 5th, the walk to Pinto in the 5th inning, he scored.
Perkins warmed up, ready to come in. Just a matter of when and how big the lead will be. Doman trying to add another run or 2 in the 8th. Swing and a miss, 1-1. One and 1 to the Twins' designated hitter. Swing, but he went 1-2.
Boy, he must have really tight rotation on that curveball. We saw Dozier strike out on it. We saw Arcia strike out on that breaking ball. And Doman right there, unable to hold up his swing.
Pitches with the pace of Jose Valverde.
He's not that slow.
He's been out there for 37 minutes and he's thrown 14 pitches. Hey,
watch out.
95 across the letters. Two and 2 to Doman. To the right side and through for a hit. Coming around from second, Pinto will score. Doman goes to second and he's safe. Big 2-out hit for Doman, and the leadoff double comes around to score.
Yeah, Gutierrez hung that breaking ball right there, and Doman jumped all over it. Doman's second hit of the ball game, driving in his 51st run. And a nice insurance run for Perkins. See, the breaking ball stayed up right there. And with 2 outs, Pinto getting a good jump. Outfield coming in for making the throw. And again, the Twins able to advance from first to second.
Doman comes out. A couple of big hits for Ryan tonight. A double in the 5th. Now an RBI single in the 8th.
That's a nice pick-me-up right there.
Trevor Plouffe will hit. Busted his bat, a roller to second. Green has it. And that ends the 8th inning. The Twins lead by 3 as we go to the 9th inning. Perkins in a save situation. The Twins up 6-3.
Yeah, Perk looking for save number 33 on the year. 69 strikeouts in 55 2/3 innings. He's allowed only 41 hits and only 13 walks. Very good 2.59 ERA for Perkins. He last worked yesterday, 1 shutout inning. 22 pitches, 15 for strikes in a non-save situation.
Clete Thomas is in left field replacing Arcia. And that is it in terms of substitutions. It will be Tommy Field, Colin Cowgill, and Eric Ibar. And as Burke mentioned, one of the key at-bats might have been getting Green, which when Perkins takes care of matters here in the ninth now with a 3-run lead, he won't have to face Mike Trout at all.
Let's hope not. Or Trumbo.
Held high strike at 95. Bit higher, gets a swing and a miss. 0-2.
And I would guess that another fastball coming. Cole DeVries getting some work in here. He's throwing on the side, I'm sure. With that swing right there, do not throw him anything off speed. Go right after him again.
Missed inside at 97.
As a pitcher, you stand out there and sometimes you see the reaction of the hitter. If he's tardy on my fastball, why would I throw him a changeup or a breaking ball? I'm going to go right after him, and that's what Perk wants to do right here. Get that first out.
Slider missed the corner. And I think he thought he had the corner there. Nope, missed inside. I don't know how if you're a hitter you lay off that pitch, but he did. And now fouled away. Back to a 95-mile-per-hour fastball. Two and two. Tommy Field. Florimon has it go out of his glove. He threw him another breaking pitch. And Field was waiting for it and lined it to the shortstop. We'll see how they rule it. It was a blistering line drive. I'm guessing a base hit.
Field picking up his first hit. And a breaking ball, he went down. I'm surprised again. The way he swung at that fastball, it kind of gave into him right there, allowing him to get that breaking ball.
Last time Perkins entered a game with a 3-run lead, it didn't turn out so good. Gave up an opposite field home run in Houston with a couple of guys on base. Twins ended up winning the game anyway, but
well, that was to Barnes in Houston.
Cowgill, the batter, up high, ball 1.
But that was then, and this is now. You have to have a short memory if you're a closer.
One and 0 to Cowgill, a double in 4 trips. One and 1. To a 95-mile-per-hour fastball and a called strike 2.
Good location down in the strike zone.
Scioscia not happy with the strike zone of Laz Diaz. One and 2. Pinto hasn't come out of the glove, but it flops down at his feet. 2 and 2. Perkins still looking for the first out. 10 pitches already. Three and two. Some squawking maybe from the Twins dugout about this pitch, although it looked inside. Well, Laz Diaz has 2-2 as the count, if I heard him right. They'll get at least one. 1 and 2. Double play.
Big double play right there. First double play turned into ball game, and it comes at the right time.
So we're looking at our AT&T Twitter poll tonight. We've asked you which of the Twins' September call-ups are you most intrigued to watch. Most of you saying Chris Parmelee, and I would imagine the intrigue surrounding first base and the Twins, and whether the Twins would re-sign Justin Morneau to bring him back, or whether Parmelee would be given an opportunity to win the job. 2 down. Here's Eric Aybar. Aybar hitless in the ball game. Takes strike 1.
Some fastball right there, and Perkins threw a breaking ball. Twins trying to break a 10-game losing streak here at home.
In terms of souls in the building, probably if it's done in front of the smallest crowd for a Twins game here at Target Field.
21,826.
Roller up the line, foul.
Win number 62 on the season. 1-2 to Aybar.
Oh, that got Diaz. Ouch. Well, this man is clapping right there. Let's go. I'm okay. But you know he's hurt. Got him in the eye area. Take a look right here.
Wow. Inside of the knee or the thigh, yeah.
I think I got the thigh. They were those shin guards, but that was above the shin guard.
2-2 to Aybar. On the line. Game on. A double for Aybar. Great at bat. And Trout will come up. Extra run the Twins got in the bottom of the 8th inning. Big factor here because Trout, as good as he is, can't tie the game up.
Double for Aybar, picking up his first hit, his 28th double of the year. A breaking ball left up, and Aybar slapping it down that left field corner. Thomas retrieves after it, gets it back in.
Both hits against Perkins on the slider that he's thrown. Bullpen picked the game up with 2 out in the 5th. Ryan Presley pitched an inning in the 3rd. Casey Feen a scoreless 7th. Brian Dunsing, Jared Burton combined to pitch a scoreless 8th. Perkins hoping to follow suit in the 9th. Over strike 1.
Sad to say that's the formula where a lot of the Twins wins have come by. That the starter maybe can't go, into the 6th inning. Or the bullpen has to pitch 3 or more shutout innings to win.
Opening breaking ball to Trout and a called strike. over-torqued fastball, 1-1.
Two all-stars going at each other here. Perkins and Trout.
Trout. Breaking ball. It's a swing and a miss. So undaunted by the fact that he's given up a couple of hits with that slider, he's thrown a couple of them to Trout.
Yeah, that's a big pitch for Perk. You know, the fastball 95, 96, but that hard breaking ball. Let's see what he does here.
Trout's been called out on strikes twice.
2 of the 3 pitches have been that slider.
Right down the middle. Osmeal Pinto shaking the hand of Laz Diaz and maybe offering an apology for the ball that smoked him in the leg. But the bullpen taking center stage here tonight. 4 1/3 innings of scoreless relief. And the Twins end that losing streak at home.
Yeah, good defense by the Twins. Trevor Plouffe having a very good night.
And the Twins, Tom Hanneman, finished the season series with the Angels, or excuse me, Anthony LaPanta, with the Twins winning 5 of the 6 games.
We wondered which trend would continue, which would end, and the Twins continue their winning ways against the Angels and finally bring an end to the Target Field drought. We'll look at a big night by Trevor Plouffe, and we'll hear from Ron Gardenhire next on Twins Live, presented by CenturyLink.